Aside from my soul,
We struggle streaming already, y'all. What's up? What's good? What's happening? Welcome to my live stream. I am the actual King Smith, and we back on a Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, November the 27th. And this is my live stream where I come on and I have a vlog for about 45 minutes or so. We're going to see how long we go tonight. And I talk about whatever it is that I want to talk about on my vlog. And tonight I got a couple of things to bring up, as I've been pulled over twice in the last 2 months or so, in the last 8 weeks, last 7 to 8 weeks. And I'm trying to figure out what's going on with all of this. All right. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. We're going to talk about what's going on in this social media era where certain people think that they can get away with doing crimes online like it's not going to affect them. And then we're going to end the show with some Reddit advice here and close out the show. And tell everybody that tomorrow's Thanksgiving. So look, happy Turkey Day, happy Thanksgiving. I don't care what you feel about the holiday itself. For me, it's more about spending time with family, friends, and loved ones if you have any. If you don't have any, go get some. All right. Learn some social skills and go get some. But if you're doing any traveling out there, be sure to travel safe. We got some folks that we're going to link up with tonight, and I'm looking forward to it. Some people that I've gotten to know just from posting online and doing this YouTube and live stream and stuff. And I'm looking forward to that. Like I said earlier, who do we got in the building? We got Michelle Early over on Facebook and over on YouTube. Said, let's go. Hey, Michelle, appreciate you tuning in. Hope you had a good time at the movies tonight. All right. First thing that I want to bring up, and I'm going to see if I can highlight this here, is crypto. Let's talk about crypto real quick. I've been into cryptocurrency for about 6 years now, 6-7 years, and I didn't do any early, and I'm going to do air quotes, investing in it early on because I didn't really know much about it. But in my opinion, you don't have to know much about stuff to see if there's value in it, right? So if you take a look here on the screen, the top cryptocurrency out there, the OG of it, if you will, is Bitcoin. And Bitcoin crossed over 100,000 per Bitcoin within the last week and a half or so. And it has since gotten down and hovered between 90 to 99K. And I mean, swinging 2 to 3% like at the snap of a finger. And some people, they can't explain what Bitcoin is. They can't explain really cryptocurrency. And for a good majority of it outside of like Bitcoin and Ethereum, I can tell you and explain what blockchain is and what blockchain technology is and how useful it can be, in my unprofessional opinion, about 90% of the cryptocurrencies that are out there are garbage, right? But people are putting their money in a certain cryptocurrencies, and I'm here to try to collect some of that money while people are doing it. I can tell y'all right now that I'm heavy into SHIB. And if you've been following my YouTube channel at least, and I've been sporadically posting my cryptocurrency buys on the actual King Smith Facebook page, that Shiba, XRP, and Solana. Solana is one of those that is 241 per now. I bought a couple, like literally less than 10 when it was 15 per. And it's one of those, hindsight being 2020, right? If you would have known that Bitcoin would have gotten as high as it is over a $1.8 trillion market cap by itself, 1.9 as of me talking, you would have definitely gotten into Bitcoin a long time ago. So for me, this is where the money's at. A lot of institutions and banks are getting into cryptocurrency as well. So for me, I'm looking at it as an investment vehicle myself, looking at around the ones that are kind of in the finance sector, which is why I'm banking at XRP, which I got in a lot. I've publicly showed this one too, when it was like 40 something cent here fairly recently, and it has shot up to around $1.50 per XRP. Okay, so follow my YouTube channel and my Facebook page, the actual King Smith, not my personal one, which I'm also streaming on. And I'm gonna take photos and just show the ones that I'm buying. I'm not making any recommendations. All right, this is not financial advice. I am just showcasing the value of investing in something over time and staying committed to it, right? So I'm going to show y'all one or two that I'm doing, that I'm not dumping large amounts of capital in. I'm doing 30 bucks here, 20 bucks there, 50 bucks here. But over time, you bet on the right horse, then when you decide to cash that horse in, it can certainly pay off for you. All right. I got my mom in the building, said, "What it do, King?" Shout out to Mama Cece over there. Appreciate you tuning in. Hey, why your Facebook name different from what your actual name is? I'm over here calling you out. And good evening to Tarika. Hey, Tarika, I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you. I appreciate that. Now, if there's a like button on the platform that you're watching this on, do me a favor, mash that like button for your boy. All right. Now, let's get into my next topic here. Social media is changing the game for a lot of different people. I just watched this kid, I don't even know his real name, IShowSpeed. Some people, if you're, let's say you were born in 1983, because I was born in 84. If you're born in 1983 and earlier, you may not know who IShowSpeed is. But if you're somebody that does content creation, or you're on YouTube and you're young, you definitely know who IShowSpeed is. He's a young cat who became really popular by streaming in real life stuff. It's just him chatting for the most part, of him doing events and things, nothing too overly produced like Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast now does these very heavily produced, a lot of money spent videos, whereas IShowSpeed has a camera. He probably has a crew or something now, his phone sometimes, and he gets online and he talks and he interacts with people. Well, IShowSpeed was just on with Shannon Sharp on the Club Shay Shay podcast over on YouTube, and I'm watching the video and I'm impressed by the fact that this kid had enough, I'm not even going to say talent, but enough TV presence, enough whatever it was that was there, and consistency to turn being a live streamer into a very lucrative and very wealthy endeavor, right? And then he treated it like a business. He has a team of people that's helping him there, and he's using it in a very productive way. And he has not only changed his life, but he's changed his family's life and employing people and the people around him for streaming, doing what I'm doing now, but it's his primary job. It's allowed him to be introduced to a lot of famous people. It's allowed him to be able to travel. He said some 30-something odd countries. I had to serve the military to travel as many as countries as this dude has traveled in his short time on Earth. Okay. So there is a lot of good that could come with being a live streamer, that could come with being a YouTuber, that could come with deciding to share things online with people. But there's also some bad too, right? If you do it irresponsibly, then it could cause major issues. And I'm gonna see if this video plays here. Oh, it is not going to play. Well, let's see if I can make a pivot here and swap to showcasing what I was trying to do here. So let me go back to where I got the source from, and I hope that my other videos play. If not, this live stream is going to be short. But there was a TikToker who in Cape Coral decided to live stream herself committing a crime. And she has over 300,000 TikTok followers. I wish I had over 300 TikTok followers, okay? All right, here we go. I found it. So this is going to be NBC News giving the short version of what occurred, in which this TikToker gets arrested for shoplifting and posting about it on TikTok. Let's take a listen.
Coral police arrested a so-called social media star for ripping off a Cape Coral Target. Take a look. Melina Velez is accused of using false barcodes at the Target on Northeast Pine Island and Pondella roads. And police say she posted this video of her getting ready and then committing the alleged crime. You see her loading up her car after shopping. This all happened on October 30th. You can see she goes into the store and then leaves with about $500 worth of merchandise, everything from Stanley cups to clothing. This is a surveillance picture from cameras in the store that helped track down Velez's TikTok account where she had posted that video.
Now, if this was anybody else, excuse me. Right, let's try this again. If this was anybody else, they might have gotten away with it if it was somebody that had way less than the followers that she had. But to have 3,000 followers and decide that it was good to showcase yourself stealing is one of the dumbest things that people can do. And it's like, is this a generational thing? I understand that this is one person, but if you follow certain culture, you'll hear things like world star. And what that means is somebody just did something stupid or ignorant that got caught or filmed, and it's going to get posted online for other people to see, right? They call it, this is a world star moment. And world star used to be a website that you would go to before really YouTube became popular, and you would see like fight videos or people getting arrested or people doing dumb stuff. That's what World Star kind of became. It was a hip hop media outlet, if you will. So it's not like it's just a small amount of people that's acting this way. But you got this lady, Marlena, who decides to get on Al Gore's internet and come out here and showcase herself committing a crime like she's going to get away with it. And I don't understand it. God Happened to Me said the fact that they still have to say allegedly. This is what baffles me too. Allegedly? If I could see you committing the crime, you haven't allegedly done anything, right? Will Buchanan said, we'll be catching the replay. Hey, brother, I appreciate you tuning in. Nemo, what's his name on YouTube, said, it's stupid if you don't know better. It's brilliant if you're willing to get arrested for the engagement or the interactions. You're looking at it from too logical of a point of view. I am because I'm trying to think of, it's only worth it if you get caught, but that applies to everything. I will go rob a bank tomorrow if I knew I wouldn't get caught, right? So when these people decide to do these things by filming themselves committing crimes that identify who you are, it baffles me. If this was somebody like me, I don't have 300,000 followers on TikTok. I don't even think I have over 1,000 followers on TikTok, right? I can be able to do this, and it's less of a, I think eventually a hardworking detective and a bit of luck could catch me if this was me, right? But I'm also of a certain nature, if you will, and I get eyes put on me a lot more scrutinized than others are able to get away with. When it's funny, because if you look at some of the demographics and or gender of people that are doing shoplifting in certain stores, they don't look like me. But that's another topic for another story. Shout out to Cody Beverly, said it's alleged because they're not sentenced yet. Hopefully her getting arrested doesn't make her more famous as a reason to do stupid stuff. Hence, kids that shoot up schools should try and get famous. Absolutely. And my mom said social media got people hooked up. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Social media has changed a lot for a lot of people. Again, before I showcase this story, I talked about how social media can be great, but it's also caused people to be a lot more vain about who they are, right? You got to do it for the gram, so to speak, and showcase certain things, or you get this illusion of choice if you fit a certain demographic, because you can post thirst trapping photos and get 100,000 likes from thirst trapping thirsty dudes, you know, and think that you're a lot more of a number, that you have an inflated number on a rating scale than what you might think. Okay, but that's another topic for another live stream. So let's get into kind of what I'm going to call the main event story and talk about 2 times recently that I got pulled over, right? And obviously they didn't end too bad, or with me being on the t-shirt, because I'm here today. So I was coming from a location about 6 weeks ago. It was fairly recent. And I pulled over to make a phone call real quick. And then when I got back on the road, I see some flashing lights behind me. And it was a cop that I saw earlier. Okay. So when he pulled me over, he said, you have a obstructed what do you say? You had an obstructed license plate, and asked me for my driver's license and my car insurance. So I'm like, okay, right? The obstructed license plate, by definition, yes, it was obstructing the license plate. Not all the way, not fully. You could still make out what state it was. Okay. And it's an easy fix as, oh, let me go get a screwdriver, take off my Alabama Crimson Tide vanity plate that I've had on that car since I've owned it, I think, back in 2020. Never been pulled over for it. Okay. So I take the vanity plate off when I get home, boom. But to get back to me being pulled over by this first cop, he tells me, he asked me where I was coming from. And I didn't say every place that I came from. I didn't give a play-by-play. And he went and he asked me some other questions. He asked if he could inspect the car. And I was like, no, not without a warrant. No, like I'm not just going to say, oh, hey, because of this vanity plate thing back here, yeah, feel free to come through my car, possibly put something in it. No, not doing it. And he asked me again about where I was coming from. I was like, are you sure that this is where you came from? And I was like, at this point, I'm frustrated. So I'm like, why are you repeating the same question? You're not going to get a different answer. And he said, because this is what I had observed. And I said, I didn't tell you. I said, I could give you a play-by-play of my entire day, because at this point I was frustrated. But I didn't. And I said, because that's not the point. I said, you're calling me a liar. I'm getting mad that you're calling me a liar. And then I stopped and said, actually, you know what? I don't have to answer this. I said, so, yeah, you have my license. You have my registration. And he says, all right, well, as long as this runs back clean, then we'll go from there. And I'm like, okay. So I don't do anything, y'all. I am a saint in these streets. And he goes and he runs and he comes back, and he doesn't even give me a ticket or anything regarding the plate. And when he hands me back my stuff, he doesn't even say anything as far as like, no, I think he did say, all right, well, just be sure to make sure that you take care of that. But he didn't give me anything like a warning for it. Nothing. I think he just looked for something to pull me over for, and that was his end, which is why I also learned some additional things that I'm going to share with y'all. Okay. They looked for something that they could pull me over for, and then started fishing for things. So what I learned from that is to don't answer a damn question, right? They'll ask you if you still stay on the address that's listed on your driver's license. And I said, yes. That one I'm like, that I can answer. Because I don't know if like they mail something, if it has to go or whatever. But I'm like, that one I'm okay with. But don't ask any questions about where you're coming from. Don't answer, how's your day going? Don't, because they're interrogation tactics. And if you've had some interrogation training, which I have back in my Air Force days, you'll know there's different kind of interrogation techniques and things that can show someone how you're amenable to respond to certain things. Okay. So from now on, if for some reason I get pulled over and, you know, it's anything beyond license and registration, I'm not answering it, which was demonstrated by the second time that I just got pulled over a couple of days ago. I was dropping my lady off. My daughter was also in the back seat. She saw the cop. She saw everything that was there. And when I was driving back home, cop came behind me, threw his lights on. So I'm like, I'm not speeding. I know I signaled. I didn't do any unsafe lane changes. Like, what's going on? And before I get into that story, I want to play this video here. Hopefully this video plays. Here we go. Because for me, I was trying to make sure that something like this didn't happen. Let's take a listen.
You got a broken taillight back there. Can I see some ID? Oh. What are you reaching for?
My ID.
All right.
Okay.
What are you reaching for? The thing you asked me for?
What? I'm alive?
You didn't use your turn signal back there. Let me see some ID.
Yes, sir. I am going to reach down now very slowly.
Don't be stupid! Don't be stupid! Very funny. Registration?
So if y'all saw that last one, he had already had his license out, and then the guy said registration, and then he reached.
License registration. Are you holding a firearm? Are you holding a firearm?
Right now?
I'm stopping everybody with broad noses.
So I saw that, and it made me laugh, because when I got pulled over this second time, again, my daughter's in the back seat. I just dropped my lady off. The cop comes up to me and he introduces himself as sheriff, and he said his name, badge number, said that it was being audio and video recorded, and that he pulled me over for a broken tag light, right? Broken tag light, and then asked me for my license and registration. I wanted to already have my registration, which was in my glove box, but when I thought to get it, he had gotten out the car really fast. So I had all the lights on in the car. I had my driver's license already out, and then when he asked me for my driver's license and registration, I said, my driver's license is over here in the glove box. Is it cool if I open it and get it? Right? On his camera, on my dash cam. And it's sad that I have to think to say that, right? To just to double check to make sure that he don't think that I'm twitchy or anything like that. And so I reached in, I gave him my I got my registration, I gave it to him, and he says, all right, I'm gonna run this, I'll be right back. And the part that made me kind of frustrated a little bit was I was thinking, I was like, okay, I got two tag lights. Are both of them out? But I didn't think to look for it because I was just waiting on them to come back. Again, I'm a saint in these streets. I don't do anything. So I knew that, I didn't have anything that was going to come back funky or weird. So he comes back and he gives me a repair order, or what's commonly called a fix-it ticket, right? That's the street lingo for it. And it basically says you have a certain amount of days to fix this particular thing that is a law violation or a traffic violation or whatnot, or a safety hazard for your car. And as long as it gets fixed and you get it certified that it's fixed either by a repair technician, or you could go to a local sheriff's office and their officers can inspect and make sure that whatever you got pulled over for is fixed, then you're squared away. So again, mine was a broken tag light or an inoperable tag light. So when I got home and I parked, I walked to the back. I have two lights. One of the lights were out. One of them. Was my tag light still visible? Yes. Why is that important? I wish I had the reference up here or what the actual law says. And I'm 50-50 on if I would have said something to the officer if I would have known about it. But the Maryland law says that one tag light is required and your tags just have to be visible. And with my one light, you can still make out what my tag says. So it's one of those that, okay, well, did he pull me over for that for justification, right? Was he being a good Samaritan and just wanted to make sure that, hey, we want to make sure people are operating properly and you might not have known this, so make sure that you get it fixed? Or is it option number 3, which I'm going to go the more cynical route and say you get pulled over for one thing and it's a justifiable stop, right? And I'm going to do air quotes. It's a justifiable stop. Because in this moment, I mean, broken tag light, yes. But the law says you have to have one required, and that one light has to make it visible. So now I'm thinking legally, if I fought that, could I have won? Was it worth the effort? Right? So I get home. I then go to AutoZone. I buy the light for like $12 and I fix it myself. And then the very next day I drive to the sheriff's office. There was one guy that was working at the desk. And again, because I'm not saying that I've had nothing but negative interactions. I've had some positive interactions with folks wearing a badge. But because I'm like, nope, I don't answer no questions, no nothing. When he came up to me and the sheriff asked me if I was doing anything for Thanksgiving, I just said nothing. Because I'm like, don't talk to me. I'm not being in the mood. I just want to get this light inspected, fixed, and get this squared away and done and over with. Not trying to give you a reason to do anything else. So my main question that I wanted to ask to the viewers and the people that are going to be out there watching this later on is, how do y'all trust the cops? How do y'all trust the cops? There is a YouTuber that I follow called the Civil Rights Lawyer, and his channel is blowing up. And let's see if I can bring it up on the screen here, because what he does is he highlights a lot of the imbalanced and unjust stops that occur and cops that make really bad decisions on things, where people's civil rights get violated essentially. Now, look, there are criminals. There are people that, go out there and do bad things. If you haven't been following the news lately, one of the more recent bad interactions that occurred was a little bit of a domestic incident in which a man called the cops because his ex-girlfriend broke into his apartment. And at one point, he barricaded himself in the restroom, called 911, and had mentioned that, hey, this person has broken into my house. She has a weapon on her, yada, yada. And so the cops came in at some point, and what you can see on the cops' camera is they make their way in, weapons drawn, because they were told that there was a weapon on the call. And when they turn this corner, they see a man restraining a woman. The woman has the knife in her hand, but she broke her way into the bathroom. She's now trying to stab this dude. He's restraining her. There's another child that's in a different room, and the cops do one shot right to his head after saying, drop the weapon, drop the weapon. He doesn't have the weapon. She had it in her hand. It's clear as day. Cop puts one shot into his head, and then when he hits the ground, there's 4 or like 5 more shots that get occurred when this guy's already on the ground, likely convulsing, right, from just getting shot in the head the first time. Now, if you were following that story right, let me recap it. He called the cops to protect him from her. Cops run in, show up, and it ended up resulting in him losing his life while he was trying to protect himself from getting sliced and diced. Right? If you look at the stats, and this was just a quick search right before I went live, there are way more positive interactions with cops than there are bad interactions. The only thing that kind of grinds my gears, though, when it comes to, certain trust, and I have family members, I have friends and loved ones that wear the badge, right? So I'm not saying all are bad, but when those that are bad do bad things, we need to start seeing more accountability happen from prosecutors, judges, and things of that nature to turn things around. Like this judge. I'm going to end with this video and this story here. This judge gets it, right? This judge is a judge, and I forget his name. He's kind of started to make waves because he views certain things as he sees certain stuff happening in a way that gives people a fighting chance, right? Because listen to the way that the prosecutor is going to talk about the guy that comes up on the stands, and watch how this judge goes through this whole encounter.
Good morning, Mr. McLean. Sir, you're charged with interference with the duties of a public servant. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you.
Yes, sir. An officer initiated a traffic stop in Harris County, Texas, after observing the defendant exceed a speed limit of 45 miles per hour and make unsafe lane changes.
Okay, so let's stop there. He said that a cop initiated a stop on this guy right here after he was exceeding the speed limit of 45 miles an hour. Okay, he's speeding. And then he made unsafe lane changes. Could be swerving through. I'm not faulting the cop for pulling him over for this part, right? Not faulting the cop for that. I've been somebody that's been driving. I'm 40. I've been driving since I was 15, 16. My daughter is a person that's about to get on the road and be driving herself, right? I don't want anybody on the road that's going to endanger my life or anybody else that I care about, to include their own lives, right? If you drive stupid, you're not only endangering your life, you're endangering others. So pull them over for that. I say, all right, fair.
The defendant did not have his driver's license, but told the officer his name and date of birth.
Okay. That's dumb. If you have a driver's license, have it on you. If you have a driver's license, have it on you. Some states have a digital license, which I've got, right? And the laws are slowly catching up to how this is. But I'll say, instead of giving people a reason, just have it on you.
While the officer was running the defendant's name, he observed the defendant exit his vehicle, and the officer told the defendant to get back inside the vehicle. And the defendant responded, "Do I have to?"
Okay. So I don't know why he got out of his car. I don't know what y'all are telling people out there, but it doesn't make sense to get out of your car for any reason if a cop is doing a traffic violation. I think you're asking for things to get escalated at this point, right? And there's plenty of times where people will get out the car and get aggressive with the police. Like I saw an old lady get out the car and she was like, "You need to blah, blah, blah." And this officer didn't slam her or arrest her or, come in her sideways or anything. But I just, especially when you look a certain way, it's one of those things that I wouldn't advise. And it's sad that I have to say that.
The officer exited the vehicle and attempted to detain the defendant. The defendant tensed up and locked his arms.
The defendant tensed up and locked his arms. Can somebody explain that? Do y'all know what that means? Tensed up and locked his arms? I don't know what that means. And all he did was he asked, "Do I have to?" Right? Do I have to? Shout out to Dante.
Everything is conclusory. What has he done wrong? What?
It was the initial lane changes, unsafe lane changes, and the exceeding the speed limit that prompted the stop. And then at that point, he was just
Stop.
All right. And for those of y'all, when he said everything is conclusory, I have to look that up. Conclusory is expressing a judgment rather than a fact. So that's when the judge then was like, all right, what did he do wrong? The speeding and the unsafe lane change. Okay. Fair, right? Fair. But everything after that, what did the guy do wrong?
How exceeding speed limit? How fast was he going?
Good question.
I spoke to the officer this morning, who told me that he was pacing the defendant at 54 miles per hour.
Okay, so going 54 to 45. Again, I'll ride with that. He said it's called OPP.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
I'm sorry?
In a what? I mean, if it's on 610, he's fine, right? And then he's interference duties. What is he interfering with? What did he do wrong?
I think it was after the stop was initiated, the officer was running the plates. The defendant stepped out of his vehicle. The officer told him to get back in the vehicle. The defendant said, "Do I have to?" The officer told me that.
And that's the basis of arrest?
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Judge. If this was a different judge that was going to sit here and allow this to occur, this kid is sitting here. It looks like he's like, I don't know what part of the legal part this is, but he's not being represented, right? He's standing.
Can I speak, please? Don't. Are you losing?
No, sir.
Okay.
So the kid raised his hand and he said, "May I speak?" And the judge goes, "No, actually don't." And he said, "Are you losing?" He said, "Nope." And he quickly put his hands down.
And Your Honor, furthermore, as he was attempting to detain him, he locked his arms and tensed up. So as he was attempting to detain him, following that incident of him telling him to get back in the vehicle. And it was that.
Wait, hold on. Let me go back. See if I can understand that.
And Your Honor, furthermore, as he was attempting to detain him, he locked his arms and tensed up. So as he was attempting to detain him, following that incident of him telling him to get back in the vehicle.
What does that mean?
And it was that.
That's the basis for arrest.
Thank you, Judge.
It was just a temporary
Talking about
detention. He was just attempting to detain him while he was trying to
What's he
investigate.
doing wrong for arrest?
Let's go back.
It was just a temporary
Talking about
detention.
Thank you, Judge. I need my soundboard. I need my soundboard.
He was just attempting to detain him while he was trying to
What's he
investigate.
doing wrong? What's he doing wrong?
65.
No, I don't think so.
Oh. So then they changed it. So it was at first he was doing 55 or 54 in a 45. And then later on, it's 65. No. You get one chance to present the facts. And now you want to change it because you see that you're losing.
No, I don't think so. You can find no probable cause. No, it's just he gets out of the car, and then it just the virtue of fact him getting out in the car is interfering with the duties.
No.
Really?
Thank you, Judge.
No. Just when you get into, just be careful out there, man. Life is hard as it is. When you get into, you got to be careful, man. People always have to get you. Be nice. It's not hard. Things will go well for you, Look, I got it. I'm with you, okay? Just hang tight with me for a second, okay? All right.
Yes. Man, I forget this judge's name, and I wish I had his name so that I could give him his respect, because that is how you do things, right? Fair, just. Let me see if I can find his name real quick. Judge, let me get in here. Let me bring this up. Hopefully y'all can't hear that. Judge Fleischer. Apparently, some people were calling for him to get fired. I'm like, for what? Why should this judge be a judge that gets you fired? So, let's see, what did he do wrong? Somebody filed a lawsuit against him. He's a Harris County, Texas judge. All right. It looks like that's just a hashtag because some people don't like him. And he's had some, look, you're a judge. Not everybody's going to agree with what you got going on. But in certain situations, especially a situation like that, it doesn't make sense to escalate things just because of OPP. I'll just leave it at that. All right. What time is it? It is 7:44. I got to get ready for a follow-on event. I do want to thank the people that took the time to tune in and took the time to comment. If you're going to watch this on the replay, don't forget to hit that like button if there's a like button on your platform. I'm going to be back next Wednesday. It'll be the first Wednesday in December. And thanks for tuning in. I'm out. Peace. Here we go.